I want to talk about some recent events. The attack on Natanz nuclear plant, and then the counter-attack that came yesterday or the day before on Israel's Dimona nuclear plant, and also there were other attacks on Israel installations that were not exactly nuclear sites, and kind of like speculate about how things are going. Many Americans, and also I think I was talking to my mom, even people in Iran or in Israel, they don't really get to hear the news that's really happening, things that are really relevant, because there is a secret war that's going on. It's similar to World War III, but I think the different countries, they're kind of trying to keep a lid on the publicity of these wars and what they're doing. Well, for example, when Dimona was attacked, there's hardly any videos or any kind of news that would be something that you would say, hey, this is the aftermath, or this is before, or did this rocket really hit the power plant? Was there a nuclear material leakage? There is very little. In fact, what I found comes from sources that most Americans here in the United States, they would never have access to these sites. A lot of stuff that happens in Israel too, there's only very few newscasters that tell things to the Israelis or to Americans the way that news is really. For example, the two news agencies that I use or I refer to currently are journalist. His name is Omid Dana, and he has access to files that come out from Iranian government itself, or most of his analysis is very accurate and is backed up by videos that you don't find anywhere. It's really research, and he hasn't even put anything together about Dimona. Well, he did put a video out about the attack on the Ain al-Assad base, which is the major attack that was against the American soldiers in Iraq after the assassination of General Soleimani. But his analysis and the stuff you see, and he was leaked them out, is completely like beyond anything that you would find in U.S. media. I think I find that I put out an analysis or videos about what I think has happened, and then like about a week later it leaks out. You hear the same stuff in RT, you hear in the American media. The American media are the last ones to kind of broadcast what really happened. Well, in the Ain al-Assad base attack, 60 Minutes came out and put a video out about what really happened. About 2-3 months later, that's not journalism. That's what's called like a historical account or historical remembering. But that's, well, with the Dimona attack, and also the attack on Natanz nuclear plant. There is very little that you see in American media. I want to tell you the stuff that's there, but many American media never have even talked about it. And then I'm sure I'm gonna hear the rest of this, well, next week from RT or at least somebody in other foreign medias. They do research. I sometimes look at the people, the kind of people that that have looked at my videos, and you'll be surprised the kind of people that have interest in my videos. A lot of U.S. contractors, military branches, Air Force, U.S. Air Force, I think watches these videos because I see who came here, who came to my site. I see ABC, NBC. Actually, this site is like a research, but it's not the research that's, you know, it's not like CNN. You really have to really look into things without, trying to promote the U.S. agenda. But on attack on Dimona, there were 2 videos, only 2. And these 2 videos came out only in one foreign media source. That's from Miss Parvin Zamani. She's another journalist. I think she's in Iran. She also sometimes comes to United States. I don't know. In these 2 videos, which were also then later on were rebroadcasted from many Iranian sources, but they haven't even made it to the American media or RT. And these 2, it shows the moment the rocket hits Dimona, the impact, the strength, or the explosion looks something like a mini nuclear explosion. Okay, and the video is made from, like, I would say at least 10 kilometers or 10 miles or 8 miles, something like that. It just the whole focus, it blazes like a very bright yellow light. And from looking at this video, if you are used to analyzing things, I could tell that the Iranians who made the rocket, well, it wasn't fired from Iran, it was fired from Syria, that made it, they had packed it with the tremendous amount of explosive. And this also, if you have a background, you study Iranian rockets that have been getting far more sophisticated, and now they're using composite materials which are very light. And the composite materials make the whole rocket very light, and then also allow the rocket to go at higher speeds. So, but then also it allows for it to carry more explosives. So, also because the speed of the rocket is far greater, is like, I don't know, Iranian rockets, this wasn't even the latest ballistic missiles, but these ones, they probably go around 7 or 8 Mach number. That's like 7 or 8 times the speed of sound. And many of these ballistic missiles, okay, the reason they call it ballistic, because there are little holes on the side of the rocket that the designer, they use the afterburner of of fuel burning to send out jets on the size of the rocket. So the rocket is going at 7 or 8. I think the Russian rockets are going at 20 to 30 times the speed of light, the speed of sound. Okay, that's 20 or 30 Mach numbers. Okay, but even say Iranian rockets are going at older models at Mach number, 7 Mach number, and the rocket is making adjustments to its trajectory using these side jets. So you have a projectile that's going at these tremendous speeds and also is maneuvering itself before it hits the target. So it does look like the anti-aircraft systems, Iron Dome and Patriots that they had around Dimona, it was not able to track this rocket. And there was just one rocket that was fired directly at this facility. So it did hit. But then you can look at the reaction in Israel, and they are hiding the damages. The same way when rockets hit the base in Iraq, Ain al-Assad base, that the Americans were hiding the casualty, the number of people injured, and this stuff kind of leaked out over a month. Like it came out in 60 minutes. I don't think they even mentioned that there were casualties. But when I was watching Omid Dana's program, and he was saying that there were injuries, serious injuries, and they took some of these soldiers to Kuwaiti hospitals, I think Qatar hospitals. They were injured. They were not like simply, their brains weren't shaken around. It was much more serious. But Israel is doing the same thing. Is hiding the extent of the damages. They're not releasing who got killed, who got injured, or if there was radioactive leakage. I mean, if such a rocket, when you look at the video, if such a rocket hit a nuclear power plant, there will be people who have gotten killed, and there will be radioactive leakage. But sitting here with only like 2 videos to kind of judge what happened, I'm really just start speculating. But then I think that these things are gonna leak out. But I'm still waiting for Omid Dana to come out with his video, and he got more direct contact with sources in the Iranian government, and I think maybe Russians will come out with a satellite image or after the Dimona attack, or maybe Iranians will come out because we have our own satellites and look at this site, see what happened. But then there was only one other video that was Miss Parvin Zamani showed it, and in this video you see there's this little town, and people are running like they're gonna get killed the next second or two. Everybody's running like crazy to shelter. It was the force of explosion was just tremendously, and this you can kind of deduce that these rockets that are being fired from IRGC or from Syria, they are a different class of rockets. They're ballistic rockets, ballistic missiles, and there aren't defenses that I know of that could stop them. Well, the anti-aircraft systems, anti-ballistic missile systems that the U.S. is reportedly having or might have are two Patriot missiles and Todd, and I don't think any of these work because there is more usage of these ballistic missiles made by Iran or Russians that the Patriots or Iron Dome, that they are not able to stop them. So what I think is happening and will be happening a lot more is that there will be more attacks by these missiles, and there will be more very large explosions like that. And then, excuse me, my diabetes. There was also another attack to a facility in Israel that makes rockets, or is a research facility that makes engines for rockets. And also there was one video that I found on that, and when you look at this video, and these are all foreign sources, there is no American that has put out videos. And when you see a city, and you see that this facility is like in a very defined, it's like a block, one block in the street, you know. So the way the rocket has hit that facility, the rocket must have had a tremendous precision, because you see the whole buildings all around it. Nothing has happened to them, but just in this one facility, there's a lot of smoke coming out of the ground. So then Israel came out and said that, yeah, this is an accident because we were testing this and that. But from the video and the explosion, you can tell that you cannot have such a tremendous explosion with you know, testing on one engine. It's impossible. There had been a rocket attack and a precision attack, not just. But then there were other incidences in Iraq and in Saudi Arabia, and I think that we are actually in World War III, but the way is unfolding is not the way people expect it to unfold. People expect that, oh, there will be like a wide area, and well, with the kinds of rockets and weapons that we have now, or everybody seems to have, you don't need to attack a wide area, you know, the whole, you don't need to destroy Berlin to kill Hitler. You just need, I don't think they killed Hitler if he didn't run away to South Pole or something. Anyhow, well, another thing with these videos is that you can tell many journalists, Americans or even foreigners, they don't do any kind of analysis, any kind of looking at the stuff and try to figure out what happened, or try to get foreign sources or you know, videos that were shot at the site, anything like that at all, and they just rely on, you know, very few sources that might be like think tanks or private party like mine. You know, they come in, they watch the video. Very often they never mention that, hey, where did you get this information? And so, oh, can we really mention Hassan's name? Oh my God, he sounds so extremist. Yeah, and then it just, oh, for the first time we have discovered, and we are presenting to you all this information in CNN. Okay, oh my God. Well, another concept or idea that pops up in the foreign media is that the Iranian military has said that, and what I'm telling you, you're probably going to hear it the first time here in English, is that every attack that's done by United States or Israel on Iran or facilities or in Natanz, we're going to respond 10 times more with 10 other attacks plus one, plus that one that you hit our nuclear facility, we're going to hit your nuclear facility plus 10 other targets with devastating attacks that it's very difficult to prevent. We're also looking at foreign media again. I was looking at some of the pictures of Israeli politicians like Gantz, Lieberman, fucking Netanyahu. You see them, you want to analyze body language. They're deeply troubled. You see all these worries in their faces. Especially Gantz had gone to northern Israel by the border, and he was warning the Hezbollah because they know a ground attack is coming, and right now they also know that these rocket attacks are very much more devastating than before, and they're just beginning. They're not. They haven't seen all of it. There is some reports. The only in Israel itself, there is I saw only two sources that tell the Israelis exactly what's going on. I think one of them is Haaretz, is their newspaper. It talks about anything. It doesn't. In fact, when some stuff happens, you would be surprised who's reading Haaretz. Hassan Sadr is reading. Then there is another one. It's very small newscaster. I think he calls himself Khebri something. I have to get the name. He was putting out videos. In fact, several years ago, he's the only one who mentioned that, hey, with all these rockets that are pointed at us, we won't be able to absorb these military attacks, especially with these powerful rockets that do so much damage. We need to work on peace or make some arrangement, because many Israelis are very seduced by this fucking Netanyahu, and he just keeps going around shaking hands with all these other assholes from Europe, and there are many of these states. They are like colonies of Israel, or they're colony. U.S. is a colony of Israel, and they're all like mesmerized by this motherfucker, and he just keeps pushing one agenda, that's war. What I think will happen is that there will be a massive attack on Israel with rockets, followed by ground invasion, and then Israel is so unprepared in human terms, in terms of, doing something to save the population. That means that it has just followed a war scenario to such an extent that's totally unprepared for the consequence of a war that they didn't anticipate that they might lose. But you can look at their faces in their cabinet, like they had a cabinet meeting, and looking at these faces, they have like death is on their faces. They're all like deeply troubled. There's all these lines of worries. Anybody look at this group of Zionist criminals, and you know that they know that they're gonna lose this coming war. But when in the aftermath, I don't know if Iran or Syria or Russia or even China will want Nuremberg type trials for these people. Or even they would contemplate such a court. But we'll see. I think there will be a lot of human casualties or civilian casualties, along with most of their military getting wiped out. We'll see. Well, my channel is a think tank. It is not like any journalism or anything in the West. Okay, the stuff you hear in this site is the real event, the real things that happen. In fact, many journalists that come in and they take this stuff and then they put it under their own name. Thank you. Please subscribe, leave messages. Your opinion is welcome. Thank you.